G'day everyone, it's Pastor Mike here. Thank you for joining me again today. I want to give you three quick updates. The Coronavirus Relief Fund, when will we be restarting church, and of course our family Bible study. First of all, the Coronavirus Relief Fund. Last week we launched our Coronavirus Relief Fund in order to help people in our church who are suffering hardship because of the virus. And I'm just so thankful to God for the massive response we've had, both from people within our church and also people outside our church. Over $25,000 has been given, as well as various gift cards and vouchers and other things like this. I just praise and thank God for his people and how generous they are. Thank you to all who have stepped up to love and help out. It is really just so good. So thank you so much for that. Of that, over $6,000 came from our church members, which was matched dollar for dollar up to $5,000. That's over $11,000 from our church members. And over $14,000 was given by churches and people outside of our church. So thank you to everybody who has helped out with that. It's just been incredible. The money is already being used to put food on the table, to help make sure people have beds to sleep in, and pay for utility bills and things like that. If you know somebody at church who's doing it tough and needs help, please let Joanne know. Joanne at stjamesberala.org.au, Joanne at stjamesberala.org.au. And if you'd like to give and you haven't given yet, the details on how to give are in this email and the attached description. So the question comes, when are we going to restart church? Now, this is a good question to be asking as we look around. We see restrictions ease. We see the panic calm down a little bit. I don't know about you, but I miss meeting as a church. I miss meeting with you guys. It is just so important. It's more than just catching up. This is God's people coming together to sing praises to Jesus, to glorify God's name, to build each other up to maturity and in discipleship. And I miss that, and I want church to come back. But what does this mean? When are we going to re-meet as church? Online's just not good enough, is it? Well, as we are talking about this, the leadership team, as we are considering the issue, there are three principles that we have in mind. The first one is we're going to be following all of the government rules and advice, as well as the advice of the diocese. We're going to be careful we do it, and we do it well. Secondly, we won't be going back until things are relatively safe and the risk is minimal. We don't want people to be worried when they're coming back to church. And thirdly, when we come back to church, when church restarts, we want it to be done well, we want it to be done right, and we want it to be sustainable. So what do we think this means for our church? Well, first of all, church and kids' church won't be returning to any resemblance of normal before term 4 and stage 3 or later of restrictions. So Sunday church won't come back before term 4, and it might even be later than that, which I'll talk about in a minute. Discipleship groups won't return to normal until term 3 and stage 2, and that will be in discussion with the discipleship group leaders and group members about what people are comfortable with. Market day won't be returning until after all the restrictions are lifted. We need to make sure that is a safe space. And then there's things like English class and music time. They won't return until at earliest term 4, but it will depend on what stage of restrictions we're in and what's possible with our property. So there's a high chance that they won't return until 2021. Now, it's just really important to note that under stage 3 that the government has outlined, there are still significant restrictions about our church meetings and our church property. In particular, it limits the number of people we can have on our property at any one time. And whilst they talk about a restriction of 100 during stage 3, in our situation, the restriction is going to be much, much larger because of space restrictions in our auditorium and our meeting rooms. Now that means that if stage 3 restrictions are still in place during term 4, any return of Sunday church won't be as normal. The leadership team will need to be considering how we can do it and if we actually can do it. We'll be discussing what the right action to be, and that may mean if stage 3 restrictions are still in place during term 4, we may need to either postpone the return of church even longer or try and work out how to do it in a way that severely restricts the numbers who can come to church. And we'll let you know about this stuff as we go on. Bear in mind, it's early days yet. Things can change and things will change, and we'll change our plans as necessary as new information and advice comes to light. Well, finally, this week's family Bible study is now available. It can be done with your family, with your household, or on your own. It doesn't matter whether you're old or young. You're welcome to do it. Why not get the kids to do it during Sunday church? And don't forget to send your pictures into kids@stjamesberala.org.au. This week the study is on the Pharisee and the tax collector. Well, don't forget to join us at online church on Sunday at 10 a.m. or 4:30 p.m. Like and follow our Facebook pages as well as our YouTube channel. God bless, and I'll see you on Sunday.